Hello everyone, Magdalena here, Wolf of Coins. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to my monthly wrap-up video where I talk about the cards that I had for the last month and what I did creatively and whatnot, what happened more or less. So the cards that I had for June were Page of Cups from the Steampunk Tarot, Strength from the Triple Goddess Tarot, and Weasel from Medicine Cards. So how I see it, I see these two definitely like relating to each other. Because if you don't know, I pulled the tarot cards for 12 months on the winter solstice, but these I'm pulling every month, like afresh. So yeah, I think these two have a great dialogue together because yeah, it's the Page of Cups, so it's about emotions and this card, it says, well, there's a lot in the guidebook, by the way. But what I underlined is, well, you know, this is a card that relates to the Strength card in tarot. So usually it's the lady with the lion, and we often talk about her coming to terms with her animalistic nature, with our instincts and such. There's no lion here, but yeah, the guidebook talks a lot about the lion actually. But yeah, there's this strong mountain here, and there are feathers coming out from her heart. So it's like she is strong as a mountain, gentle as a feather. But it also says that about like she's in this teardrop shaped orb here, but one foot is sticking out, which is interesting because this is also how in Tarot de Marseille a naked foot of Strength lady sticks out from her robes, long robes. And this is one of the rare instances that we see barefoot in Tarot de Marseille. But yeah, so her right foot steps out of this universal tear, indicating her readiness to meet the world of form and suffering in a tangible way. So yeah, and it also says that the step into strength is a true test of character for the individual. So I feel like this month I did have a couple of challenges regarding the way I deal with my emotions. So it's something I've been working on for a while now, and I can see, you know, I'm trying to get to know myself better and better, and then to understand how to deal with my emotions so that they don't, you know, overflow me and they don't make me feel too horrible. Of course, it's unavoidable, but I'm looking for ways to like show myself understanding, and in this way make everything easier in a way. So I did have some occasions this month to deal with strong emotions and like feelings of rejection. For example, if you're a writer, you know, that's that's something that comes up pretty often when you talk about being a writer. When you want to become a writer, you have to be prepared for rejection, because like it's a normal thing then. However, you as an artist, as a creator, you are very sensitive towards, like, about your work, and in general, I suppose that creative people are pretty sensitive people. So it's a tough balance, balance between this mountain and feathers and all those the sea of emotions to find yourself, where you stand really. And when I search for tips, like, for people who want to be writers and such, they often say, like, you need to grow thicker skin. And I always puzzled about it, because how do I do that? How do I do that so that I don't care? I don't feel. Can I stop myself from feeling something? And it never worked. It never did. So this month I actually could go about it in a different way. So I was like, okay, my short story got rejected, and I'm sad about it, because I hoped it would be accepted, right? It's natural. So, and without hope, it's also the thing, if you're not hopeful, you also cannot get far, because you will give up. If you don't have this hope that one day you will succeed, you cannot move forward. So it's like, I sometimes think about it as a trap, really. It's like, you cannot expect to always succeed, but you also have to expect to succeed. So it is a tough thing, really. So I thought, okay, I'm sad. So I allow myself to be sad. I'm not, this time, I'm not telling myself, oh, it's nothing, I should be used to it by now. It takes a lot of tries until you get successful, and so on and so on. But still, I would feel, when I was telling myself all those things in the past, I would still feel like, but I am sad. And what? I'm like, subconsciously, I thought, why am I not allowed to be sad? And then I would feel even worse. So this time I just told myself, okay, I give myself time to be sad about it. And it's okay if I am sad. And you know what? Actually, the moment I let myself feel the sadness, it turned out it takes much less time for me to get over the rejection than it was in my before tactic, let's say. So yeah, I discovered that it's actually better to allow yourself be miserable for some time, and then you can get over it, because you felt the emotions, you allowed yourself to go through them. You didn't pretend it's nothing. You didn't tell yourself that you're weak for feeling all those emotions. So yeah, it is a struggle. And there are other situations also. This month was pretty emotional, you can tell. So the weasel here, well, it talks about being clever, smart, and finding weasel your ways in, or something like that. So being cunning. And I think this, my whole my struggle to deal with emotions, to make it all better, it was looking for this new way. Maybe this works better than this, maybe this is better. Also, I had to use my wits a bit when I was for a few days in Poland, and I had to deal with preparations for the move. So I had to use my brain as well. So maybe that's where the weasel comes in. So yeah, these were my cards. Then this month I painted only 2 paintings for my Slavic Soul Oracle, because as I said, I was in Poland, clearing the house before the renovation. It's going on right now. And graciously my parents agreed to control the works, how they are going. So we are very lucky. And yeah, so I worked there quite a lot because we lived there for, well, we moved in 24 years before, and then yeah, various people lived there, and you just accumulate stuff. Plus, if you live there since you're 10 till 20 something, you also accumulate things. Also, when I moved out of my parents' house, I did not take everything with me. I left stuff, so I had to deal with this problem now. So yeah. But yeah, I painted 2 paintings. One was this, and these are vile or rusalki or boginki, depending on the region in Slavic lands that you pick. These are those like nymph-like little goddesses, as we call them. And if you know Harry Potter, you know Vila from there. So yeah, they were a bit different than like in Harry Potter has its own, you know, image of them, but some of the characteristics match. I think they were definitely very beautiful, and they could, you know, tempt men, and they might be dangerous, so it all matches. And from what we know from the folklore, they were shapeshifters, so they could shapeshift mostly into water birds such as swans or ducks. They could also shift into horses and wolves, and they could also control the weather, and they would be guardians of holy springs, and they would dance in circles. So I talked a little bit about it in my video about Slavic folklore. I think it's number 4 about Mamuna. So I see them a bit like a mixture of nature spirits and echoes, like memories of people about priestesses of old cults that then turned into, you know, this image of witches who go for Sabbats, and those nymphs who dance and can capture men and dance them to death and whatnot. So it is them. They have wreaths on their heads. And yeah, and the other one that I did was the Fates. And I actually talk more about them in my video about, yeah, it's called, I think, Slavic Pantheon is Not What You Think. So if you're curious, you can check it out. But yeah, these are my Slavic Fates. They also have a lot of names depending on where you ask. But one of them being Rożanice, Sudiczki, Zorze, Dole, and so on. So these 2, and another reason that I only painted 2 paintings this month was this horrible heat wave that is actually supposed to, for now, and to tomorrow. So it was so hot. Our apartment has no air conditioning. Most of our windows are from southwest, and we are on top floor, and it's like living in an oven. So I really, yeah, didn't feel like painting, but instead I started working on the guidebook for the deck. So it was easier to just type than to focus on painting. So well, it also takes time, by the way, because with each card I'm like, oh, I need to check that, and then I get into that research. I cannot find what I want, like the confirmation of what I want to write, and yeah, and then it's like, whoo, takes time. But yeah, but I have descriptions for 12 cards so far out of planned 46, so it's not bad. And each card will have like keyword, and in this description there will be a message from the card. text about the person, the creature on the card, plus like the third part will be my explanation of how I depicted this particular deity or creature or whatever, like explaining all the symbols that I added there. So it's a lot of work, but it's also fun. What else? Oh, we had a great goodbye party. We did, when we lived in Switzerland, almost every year we would organize a midsummer party, so called in many Slavic countries, it's the Kupala night. And it was a great celebration in the old days, but it's still celebrated, maybe in a different form, but it's a very important holiday for the Slavs. So we always have a bonfire, and we also make wreaths, and we put them on the water with a candle lit inside. It's very pretty if you stay after it's dark, and we did stay this year and last year too, actually. So and we are jumping over the fire, which is like a good fortune for the upcoming year. So yeah, it was great. And also, what else do I have to talk about? Oh yeah, 2 days ago I had the weirdest dream. So I dreamt that I went to a kind of like a theater place, and there were people performing, and they were singing a song praising Lord Shamash. And Shamash was an Akkadian god, solar god of law, and yeah, I know about him. I read about him. There's his depiction in the Mary L tarot, by the way, which is my favorite court card in this deck. Of course, Akkadians depicted him a bit differently, but yeah. So I woke up from this and I was like, what is that about? And then I thought, yeah, maybe it's telling me something that I need to connect to this type of energy. So, and this solar and more like outgoing, optimistic, analytic, more intellectual this time, finally. So I thought I would try and connect with Wado, or Dachbog, who is in Slavic pantheon like a counterpart of Shamash, because he's also a solar deity. He is the god of oaths and laws and learning and so on. And they even have, both of them have a sister who is associated with planet Venus. So with Shamash it's Ishtar, and with Wado it's various goddesses associated with planet Venus. But for example, it can be his twin sister Wada. So yeah, we'll see. And this is a printout of my image for the deck. So this image will be in the deck, and I just printed it out on my printer on a photograph paper. Yeah. So that's that. About the books, I usually included books in my wrap-ups, but this month I decided to make a separate video about my June books. So if you're curious, you can check it out. It was I was talking mostly about Joseph Campbell's The Power of Myth, and Buffy Johnson's The Lady of the Beasts. And yeah, the decks that I used a lot this month were again it was the Dark Mansion Tarot. I worked a lot with this when developing my characters, for the sequel of my novel. So I used this a lot, and it was so much fun, you guys. It was so much fun. I used where is this book? Oh, here. I used spreads from this book by Arwen Lynch. I highly recommend this little one. It's great. And yeah, and I thought it would be fun, but I did not think it would be that much fun to use tarot for, yeah, developing your characters. So I used this mostly for that purpose this month, but I used it a lot. And then for my daily draws, I used mostly the Moon Crystal Tarot. There's the box. So it's basically a Sailor Moon themed deck with characters from Sailor Moon, of course. So yeah, it's actually when you use something like that for your daily draws. So it's similar with when I was using this deck, because this deck makes me smile. And this deck has a theme of like one of my most important shows from my childhood. So there is this nostalgia there, and it also makes me smile. So it's perfect. And another deck that I got like a bit more familiar with, and I discovered it's really great, is this one. It's Ancient Feminine Wisdom of Goddesses and Heroines by Kay Stevenson and Brian Clark by US Games. I have a walkthrough of this deck, I believe. I think so, yeah. It's from 2007, I think, and it was reprinted recently. So it's in print now, and it's very cool. It's Greek goddesses and heroines who were probably also really goddesses, and then they got like turned into human women. But yeah, I like how it's designed. And I liked the little white book. It's really, sometimes it really gives you like the messages that are deep, even though it's like a short text. But sometimes it's just something that you need to hear. These are the backs. So I used also this. And now I want to show you my cards for July. July in Polish is Lipiec, which means the month of linden trees, which I love. Okay, so my tarot card from Steampunk Tarot is the Moon. Oh boy, oh boy. Is it a continuation of this? I wonder. You know, the sea, the emotions, who knows. Then I got from the Triple Goddess Tarot, I got this card. It's 22 Infinite Bliss, and I don't know yet what it means, because yeah, it's an additional card that is not in tarot. It's number 22. And I also pulled a card from Whispers of Lord Ganesha. This one, it's a great deck, by the way. Highly recommend it. And I got Energetic Movement. So yeah, we'll see. Energetic Movement. I'm moving literally from Switzerland to Poland this month. So, you know, there will be movement for sure. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Please let me know. And also please let me know how your June was. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!